Thank you so much. I am Dhruv Agarwal. I am the CEO and director at Stahl Kitchens. We are today a design-led cookware company, and I think one of the fastest growing in India as of right now. We're present in about 25 lakh odd households across India. We are present in about 13 other countries. And today, principally, what I'm going to talk about is what is the future of design. So what is good design in the kitchen? It's going to be a damn hard act to follow. I just saw both the presentations before me. The Mahindra one, I love their design, and my God, we're talking about cookware. Very, very hard to follow automotive, but I'll try to do my best. So when you think of design, what are a few of the products that come into mind as of today? A chair. Let's say companies, some things that have revolutionized. Mobile phones. So I'm going to take this up. I'm sure this will come up. Something that has completely changed the way we think. It's sleek, intuitive, beautiful. I know we had Mahindra, and I'm a very, very proud person about that, but a lot of the design or the change in the design has happened through this company, Tesla. Sculpted lines, powerful, sustainability with style. Somebody said a chair. So I actually have one, the Eames Lounge, something that has been iconic for the last few years. We speak about Dyson. It's a vacuum cleaner. Every single home, you clean dirt. Yeah. What is there to, what is cool about it? It's something that you don't want to do. So we talk about design endlessly in technology, in transportation, in furniture, in other spaces, but we never talk about it in the kitchen. When is the last time that somebody spoke about design in the kitchen? And if you think about it, it is one of the most universal design spaces. It is there in every single home in the world. Every culture celebrates it. Every family story revolves around the kitchen, whether it is joy, happiness, festivals, dinners. It's where conversations start. It's not just a room, For us, it is actually, a lot of people, to them, it's a room relegated in the house. But as of today, it's starting to become the heart of the home. You look at architecture in India, the kitchen is coming into the living room. And for many, many years, for decades, I think the design, at least in our country, design in the kitchen has been overlooked. It's been treated as a place of function, as a place of chore, not so much of creativity. It's been a necessity. I think we are at the cusp of reimagining the kitchen, not just as a place where we cook, but also as a place of design, of creativity, of joy, of happiness. And what I'm speaking about, it's not just about the kitchen. Design during the last century has been true to this mantra: form follows function. Every presentation, form follows function. Function is followed by form. A stove was just a stove. A pan was just a pan. Performance is what was measured. There was no love. There was no aesthetic. But today, I think that thinking in design feels incomplete. We demand more. Car was just a car a few years ago. Today it is a statement. I think the same is happening. We all want objects that don't just work, but work beautifully. We don't want objects that just last, but last long. We don't want tools that just perform tasks, but actually inspire creativity for each of us. So this to us is the new paradigm. It is fundamentally where form, function, and feeling come together. If you think of the iPhone, which I put up, it's actually metal and glass. But it is a place where you can actually be creative. It is a window to the world. It is a work tool. It is something that you enjoy using every day. Tesla is more than just transportation. It's intelligence, it's design, it's sustainability, it's a revolution. When you think of Dyson, you're not thinking of a vacuum cleaner anymore. You're thinking about your health, you're thinking about engineering wrapped in beauty. So if this was true for cars, if this was true for vacuum cleaners, I ask again, why not the kitchen? Why not the tools that we use every single day of our lives? There is somebody, on an average, we see that spends about 90 minutes in a kitchen. That's longer than most people drive. That's longer than most other activities happen. Every single day there are knives, pans, kadhais, objects that nourish us, objects that are directly impacting our health. So if design is about shaping human experience, the kitchen should be one of its core frontiers. And kitchens are not the same everywhere. A Western kitchen has a very different style than an Indian kitchen. It is a little slower. It's a lot of baking, sauteing, letting things rest. An Indian kitchen is like theater. A sizzle of a tadka. It's crackling. Curries that simmer for a long time. The pressure cooker waking you up every morning if you're a little child. Chapatis need to be made fresh. We're not talking, at least in our country, I don't think we've reached a point where we're cooking for the entire week in one go. So, for decades, our tools haven't really matched this interspersion. Aluminium has been cheap. It has been now perceived as unhealthy. Non-stick has been convenient. It doesn't really last. Steel is durable, but it is clanky, not nice or easy to use. Cast iron is very strong. But I know if you use a standard cast iron, it feels like you're going for a workout every morning. So, the question that we had at Stahl, principally, if you look at this, how does one reimagine it? How do we reimagine the kitchen today through design? How do we take empathy for our unique cooking styles that we have and combine it with creativity and engineering? Create tools that are not just transformational, but also that turn our chores, the daily friction that we have, into rituals. Isn't that what design does? I think it's supposed to do that. So it changes not the object, not just the object, but the experience around it. And this is where we, as a brand, Stahl, enter the story. We are born out of a 35-year-old manufacturing legacy. We manufactured for some of the best in the world, some of the best in India. I'm very proud to be a second-generation person in this business. I had the unique opportunity of being able to study in Germany, a place which is known for good design and great engineering. And when my father had visited me there, we were making cookware for some of the best, but I was still surprised that he came there and bought cookware for me. And after 3.5 years, the Baniya Dimag didn't accept the price difference. But after 3.5 years of using it, when I came back to India, one would imagine you bring other things, but I actually brought my used cookware back. I didn't realize it at that point, but when I joined the business a few years later, it became very, very interesting to figure out that what we were manufacturing for some of the best in the country wasn't close to being inspiring. So we decided to relook at the Indian kitchen through a lens of the customer, to be customer-centric. And this legacy of manufacturing gave us insights into a lot of materials. And I think design isn't just aesthetic, it is also understanding the engineering, understanding the function. Function precedes form. You cannot take that away. So we looked at a material called tri-ply. It's something that we felt is really, really hard to deal with. It is a 3-layered material, and it wasn't just science. We felt it was a solution for the kitchen over here. It brought together 3 of, I think, some of the best materials that there were. Stainless steel, which is fundamentally really, really safe. Aluminium, which has an amazing conduction core that helps you reduce oil, keeps your food light. And a magnetic steel exterior that kind of helps you put it on any form of stove in the evolving kitchen happening today. And we put this and we applied it to the most iconic Indian vessel, which is the kadhai. I think if you take any cookware company in the country today, I think 40% of what they buy is a pressure cooker and the other 40% is a kadhai. After that, there are tawas and then something else. The kadhai had not been reimagined for, I think, almost about 70 or 80 years before this. So we took these 3 materials and we tried to reimagine the kadhai as something that it heated evenly, it cooked faster. Throughout COVID, I know I had to clean. It cleaned a lot easier than everything else. And I think that is what design is. It's not only about the creation, it's also about the cleanup after. And it would last for decades. A kadhai that felt balanced in the hands, elegant, something that you would be proud of, something that you'd want to bring to the table, modern in its aesthetic. For our handles, so we said the kadhai is great, but where else can we take inspiration from? So we went and we looked at one of the best forms of design and function in the world. And we said the way they make the spirit of ecstasy and the handles there, let's attach it to our kadhais. Because you should feel the way you feel great about going in a great car, you should feel the same way about cooking. But we paid due to the traditions, we paid due to the rituals we own. We cannot take away from the core shapes, we cannot take away from what we do. There is a mother for sure who is making dal every single day. For them, this kadhai meant ease. For a young professional who was just learning to cook and experiment, it meant confidence. For a chef running a kitchen, it was his workhorse. It had to be precise, it had to be efficient. So once we did this and we started speaking to our customers, we found that these daily chores started feeling like rituals. We realized we went beyond engineering, that design thinking was being applied to the Indian kitchen. And that's what we embarked upon. This was for us just the beginning. We started around other cookware. We have been looking at knives. I think it is one of the most fundamental tools in the kitchen today. Everything must be cut before it is eaten. And if you look at the standard knife used in the country today, it's a mass-produced thin one which everyone says, use karo, phek do, naya le lo. We asked, why can we not actually combine aesthetics? Why can we not combine elegance with absolutely great performance? And, the result was knives that feel as good as they look. We then looked at surfaces. We spoke about coatings and coatings not lasting. We took a honeycomb and we put a non-stick layer into it. And we found that the core problem of coating, which was peeling off, just stopped happening. It lasted for, I think, roughly about 20 times longer than what it does. And the beauty with this is when this starts happening, you stop worrying about what you're putting in your children's food and you start caring about what you're cooking, because the cookware allows you to do what you love. We are in fact in the process of launching. I think there are only 3 or 4 factories in the world that can make this level of cookware. It's a brand new non-stick surface called PEEK, polyethyl ethyl ketone, which is super hard. It lasts roughly about 20 times longer than any other surface and is super safe. We reimagined cast iron. My mother uses this heavy lohe ka kadhai, which her mother passed on to her to make black chana. And the only reason the chana would turn black is because of the cast iron. And we said, what can we do to make this heavy thing that is picked up lighter? So we went through something called press casting, made the walls thinner, made this about 50% lighter. We then looked at an inspiration to, there was still a complaining of rusting. So we looked at an inspiration with guns. Guns are metal, guns are basically iron that do not corrode in the environments they're used. So we've got night riding done, which is 100% food safe, and it makes the products last super long. The handles, for example, here are stainless steel, which has allowed us to make them stay cool. So to us, these are not just products, these are not just innovations, these are design experiments that we have undertaken. It happens when you take empathy for your consumer, and put curiosity to it, a little bit of engineering, and you are creative with what you need. And this allows the kitchen to become a canvas. It allows for the cook to start designing great spaces. This is what we are working on. As you can see, there are many, many, many aspects of the kitchen that one can create or work towards. But design must also be sustainable. It must be responsible. Good design is not only about how it works, but we also spoke about how long it lasts. We have for very long embraced disposable solutions. But by creating greatly engineered, long-lasting products, we can actually reduce a lot of what goes into the landfills. A knife that stays sharp, a pan that keeps on giving, that keeps on cooking, a cast iron pot that can be passed on. It can actually turn from something that is a waste in the future to something that actually becomes an heirloom. It can be something that traditions are passed on. The same way I was talking about the kadhai, the way my grandmother made the chana, the way my mother made the chana, someday maybe I or my wife will. There is also the aspect of social impact. Design can exclude or include. A poorly designed tool excludes. And what I mean by that is, if a pan is too heavy, the elderly may not be able to use it. If it's chipping, it may be unsafe for children. It may be too costly for everyday families. But a well-designed tool, it empowers people to cook. It empowers people to connect. Like this lightweight cast iron, it has let many a grandmother start using their kadhais again. Or a beautifully balanced knife that allows a young professional to cook at home rather than ordering on a Swiggy or a Zomato. In this way, design, I think it's the onus on all of us to make it democratic, not just about aesthetics. There is another thing that I am incredibly proud of, and we saw this right before, is design that is made in India. I think we have a 2,000-year-old legacy. I think we do a lot of things well. And I think it's about time we start looking and taking what we do across the world. I know at Stahl, we've started exporting our kadhai to about 13 countries. We've started exporting our tawas to about 13 countries apart from this, and we hope to reach another 50 by the end of next year. But I think it's about time that we talk about design in India not being an imitation, but something that is built upon our legacy with our empathy and understanding our consumers. So, to me, to sum this up, this talk is not about cookware. It's about a philosophy. Design is not about objects. It's about experiences. It's about how these objects and these experiences make us feel, what they help us create, how they bring people together. When design reimagines the kitchen, imagine the possibilities when the heart, where the home starts, when it starts working. Because the kitchen is somewhere where we gather, we connect, and we create meaning. And my invitation to each one of you, to the designers and the design students, I know there are some over here, look at the kitchen, but not only the kitchen, the other everyday areas that you are in with new eyes. To the innovators among you, do not underestimate the everyday. Each of us lives in the everyday, and I request you to see how we can redesign our lives. To the cooks, chefs, and dreamers, demand more joy from your tools. Because the future of design is not written in studios or labs. It's written in everyday places. It's not about luxury objects, but it's about the tools that you make which will inspire people. And this is a philosophy that we hold close. To reimagine the kitchen not as a place of chores, but as the heart of the home. One utensil, one ritual, one meal at a time. I'm going to invite you to read this next piece with me. It's a manifesto, and this is what we work with. Cooking is like poetry, an art, a rhythm. Every slice, simmer, and sear, creating a masterpiece. Stahl celebrates the grace and the precision of culinary craftsmanship. We inspire and empower chefs, home and professional, to compose flavors like poets weave words. Whether it's the gentle reduction of a sauce, the perfect emulsion of a vinaigrette, or caramelization of the onions, Stahl transforms everyday cooking into an everyday expression of creativity. With cookware designed and tools designed for sensitivity and strength, we invite you to make every dish a stanza and every meal an ode to the senses. Stahl, poetry in the kitchen. I invite each one of you to try and do this in your space, and we will have a much better India and a much better world. Thank you.